Finance Committee meeting for August 13, 2026. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call please.
Legislator Regan, Legislator Sage,
Present.
Chairman Goldman.
Present. Okay, gentlemen, it sits here. We'll be here in a few moments and then we'll participate. Okay. Item number 3, we have an acceptance for the minutes for June 15th, 2026. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4, we have a discussion on the Dixon Lake Dam in Mayapack. We received a letter from Joseph Doherty, the president of the Friends of Dixon Lake, and to discuss this.
Chairman.
We also received something today. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I have to recuse myself due to the fact that this affects my home, so, and it would be
Okay, we'll let you know where you're gonna be, so we.
I'm gonna go right in the legislative office.
Okay. We received something today, which I just got when I got it, so I haven't read it yet, but, I'm gonna ask Tom Fury, the Commissioner of the Department of Public Works, to start this, off, because he knows the summary more than I do of what, we should do. So, Commissioner and Deputy Commissioner.
Excuse me, Chairman, did you want to?
Yes, I'm sorry. We have an additional, as I just mentioned. I'd like to add it into the mix. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, gentlemen.
Where do you want to start? Which one? Which item?
The Dixon Dam.
Yeah, no, I mean, the latter piece that came in today.
That's fine, because I don't know what it is.
Well, I think I looked quickly, we didn't get to later this afternoon. I think the last paragraph explains our position and what has been our position. So we're very supportive of helping out the Dixon Lake District, let's call it Pound District. And we'll help support any way we can. And the idea was floated to, for a nominal fee, let it go to the district, and the county would give the pond to that district.
The county would give a bond to the district.
Correct.
Okay.
It's an A-class dam, which is the lowest level dam. We do now inspect it on an annual basis, and but we'd be glad to help out any way we can with the residents of Dixon, the area, to facilitate taking over the property.
Okay. Want to add anything to it?
I think I just did.
Okay.
It's pretty.
I'm just asking.
No, I mean, that's pretty much in a nutshell. We don't want to, any way we can help, but, I know recently there was a question about a beaver. We'd like to know where everybody stands on a beaver. We, last week went out and got, a permit from the DEC, to take the beaver, trap them, take them to a home far, far away. So that's been in the works. We haven't done anything yet until we know where everybody stands, so.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the legislature?
So this lake is I know I have a lake like this in my district. So this is a lake that is owned by a community or is owned by Putnam County?
What happened was with a lot of these,
Yeah.
there's unfortunately a lot of them that fall back on us, especially if there's a dam laid to it.
Right.
And most of them have that, obviously. It was a community at some point back in the 60s and 70s until people start buying their own pools and things like that. And then it went back to the county in lieu of paying the taxes on it.
So the county doesn't foreclose on these properties because I mean, Baldwin Lake, same position. Baldwin Lake was a lake owners association. It was owned by a community. They had a little clubhouse there. Never paid taxes. And then the lake goes into disrepair. The younger generations don't want to take over and take on the care of the lake, and then it falls into disrepair, and then it doesn't get foreclosed on by the county. So I don't think the county takes over ownership. Do they take over ownership of this particular property, or
Well, the county takes over responsibility for it.
responsibility? But
Right,
not,
right.
okay.
So, I mean, that lake you're talking about, that was, vibrant back in the 80s. I played basketball there.
Yeah.
It had its own rec center and everything.
Same kind of thing, and I know that they're
They're
trying
same-
to
Yep.
do the same thing. They wanna take over the property, they have the younger homeowners, they wanna
Right.
start reviving the lake. And I would love to see the county be able to turn these back over to the homeowners to, revive and start this beautiful lake. I've
Yeah,
been down there.
We agree,
My son has
we
been
would
twice
help
down there.
any way we can facilitate that, so.
Don't get up, don't get up.
Was that something that is it the health department or the law department where they go, Dean? He has to go through and write off the lakes. I'm not sure what the process is for that. Anyway, I'll look it up because he's gonna do that for the same lake in my district.
Who would be the law department?
Yeah, the law department has to.
Gotcha.
And where are we in that process? And that's my last question.
So I believe there's people that are speaking on today, so I'll let them speak on that. I'm not sure where they are, but
Okay.
I know where we are. So.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments from the legislature? Okay, we have, Source Authority with us. Would you like to come up and say a few words?
Absolutely.
Speak into the mic so we.
Yeah, I understand.
can hear you.
Okay, so, Friends of Dixon Lake, has been, I guess a number of the neighborhood people have talked with each other, walking around, walking their dogs, talking with each other. I've canvassed the neighborhood and trying to, get support for starting up, Friends of Dixon Lake Inc. And so we got enough, people together to start that, back in January. And it's taken a little time to get us, together, get our, we're setting up as a nonprofit 501c3 so that we can apply for grant money, we can apply, accept donations, and people can take tax write-offs, whatever. So it's as supportive as we can to manage the lake. And it's actually the goal of Friends of Dixon Lake to manage the lake, whether it's to rebuild the dam or to remediate the invasive plants that have covered and are now covering easily 50% of the surface of the water, the open water. People can't fish from the shore, but and recently we've had a beaver issue where the beaver constantly builds its own dam over the top of the spillway, raising the lake water level. And it's, I actually measured it today. It's 18 inches to the max height of the one dam wing that still remains, that's tipping into the lake. I was guessing around 12, but I measured it, it's 18 inches now. So when all that water is released, when it's at the crest, at the top of the dam, it's actually closer to 6 million gallons of water. Right now, within the past week and a half, 2 weeks, the lake started changing the way it digests the muck layer of the lake. It's no longer an aerobic process that's normal in lakes, in healthy lakes. It's turned to an anaerobic process, which now has been outgassing significant quantities of hydrogen sulfide. So the lake is deteriorated significantly, and that's basically due to lack of dissolved oxygen in the water, which is a result of the cover from all the water chestnut plants. They have a leaf that covers the surface. It may be very small in each plant, but there's so many millions of plants out there that it looks like you can walk across it. So sunlight doesn't penetrate into the water to support the phytoplankton and the native aquatic plants that actually do create a lot of the oxygen in the water. Rain splashing on the lake some wind hitting the open water can put a little bit of oxygen into the lake, but essentially there's very little oxygen generation at this point. It's actually going to support the life of the lake. Fish are about to die off with all this hydrogen sulfide that's toxic to life. With the release of the water, the last 2 times it was the beaver materials were removed from the spillway. All that water went, downstream toward Long Pond. I just recently drove down Dixon Lake Drive, and the smell was horrendous from all the way from Dixon Lake down to Sycamore Park. And this is only the start of that type of, problem within the community. So I'm just urging, like, I guess, speed to move forward to get this, to help us, or I'd love to work with you to obtain funding to repair or rebuild the dam. I've actually had an engineer come and give us a proposal for doing the design work, for evaluating up to 4 bids on an RFP, and then overseeing the construction and the final inspection of the dam. Recently, I had a meeting with Assemblyman Slater, set up a meeting with several members of the DEC, different departments. The Department of Dams, again, they classify it as a low hazard dam that essentially, because of the depth or how much impoundment of water our spillway actually retains, we do not have to apply for any permitting through their dam safety, personnel. So they say the DEC doesn't care what we do with this dam, so that's one less problem. As far as in regards to, I did approach Mike Dean through email to inquire the process to move forward with the purchase of the lake. Okay, I heard back from him once. He was asking, well, who had I spoken with, and so I sent him an email back that with the slew of people that I've been in touch with. I've been in touch with the county executive, with his chief of staff called me the next day. We spoke for probably close to an hour. He agreed with everything I was saying about the lake, and so I kind of think I have their support. Neil Tillman, at the time, he was with the Putnam County Soil and Water Department of the county, and he recommended, back when I first started talking with him, that we purchase the lake back for $1, which from what I understand, back in 1986, the county transferred it to their property from the HOA for $1, back then. So there is a deed that does explain that the county owns the parcel. And we're looking to take over stewardship of the property to restore it back to health, to remove these invasive plants, and to, eventually put in some beaches. But it will also help the quality of water heading downstream to Long Pond, and right after Long Pond, it goes into the West Branch Reservoir through their outlet stream. I know beavers are a problem at a lot of lakes and properties around. I know there's a 20-acre lake that's being formed by a beaver behind one of the properties on Allen Drive, in the back of the development there. The people, I guess they own about 120, 150 acres, and somewhere around 20 acres are being backed up by this beaver with the stream going through it. So, and I know Long Pond has problems with the beaver as well. They build up on all the spillways or the outlets so that they raise the level of the lake. They're looking to protect their home from predators by making it further underwater that any predator would have to go to and compromise their safety. Whether it's just the trickle of water, the flow of water that triggers them, that they just naturally build dams. They're good at it. They build it right back pretty much within a week of it being torn down. So it's kind of a futile effort that's been, you know, the protocol for quite a while now. And it's actually exacerbated the condition of the dam itself. So the banks of the dam, the grass and the soil that were there have now been torn from the banks and utilized to pack the beaver's dam. And now that's sitting in the channel where it's actually a lot of that material has flowed down to the outlet side of the culvert under Valley Court. And so there's a huge pile of brush, or actually it's not even brush, it's like logs, almost small logs, that are maybe about 8 feet long. But they've kind of piled up, and now the water is actually diverting because of that. It's creating a kind of a dam down there. And then, of course, the rest, all the other like vines and such have just overgrown that pile of sticks. So they now extend over the whole thing, and you can't even see there's a stream from the road. So, you know, we're just looking to straighten this out, to be good stewards of the land. And so we're looking for support in that effort. We'd love to buy this parcel back, transfer it over to us, and, so that we can move forward with applying for grants and to offset some of the costs. So we're going to have to hydrorate the lake, because that's one way we can help to remove a lot of the muck layer. It will also be coincide with the window of opportunity to remove water chestnut plants as they're growing before they form the nutlets for the next season. So that's standard with removing water chestnuts from lakes. So that window is between the end of May and mid-July. So we have about 6 weeks or roughly opportunity to schedule some hydroraking in there. We have support from the Putnam County Soil and Water Conservation District that are looking to help a lot of the lakes within the county. They're considering ways that they can purchase a hydro rake in conjunction with other municipalities so that it can be used to save money for, you know, so many places that do hydro rake. I know that the town of Mayapack does both Long Pond and they do Lake Cassie before the swim season. But they hydro rake every year. I know it's cost $38,000 for each of those locations. That may be over 6 years, but it's, you know, it adds up every time you do it. So if we can, you know, that's only 2 places. There are many other places that hydro rake. Okay, and there's many other lakes that maybe have been taken over by the county or they're, but without a budget to maintain them properly, they're gonna fall into the same category as Dixon Lake. So, I mean, I made more of the, Friends of Dixon Lake into more of a lake management, organization to help restore a lot of these lakes. So if we can just get the support of our county government to help us out with this matter, we'd love to move ahead.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? I see a person in the back would like to say a few words.
Person in the back.
Mention who you are and what organization you're with.
I'll be brief. Putnam County Stormwater Conservation District Chair, Cassandra Rock. Lots of history. Joe's been doing this for a while. He's been emailing you guys a lot. He's emailed us a lot. So we've gotten to know Walter, Joe Doherty. A couple things. It is a county-owned parcel. To my knowledge, there's 13 county-owned dams. So this is part of, I think, a larger discussion that needs to be had. Again, our district's willing to have those conversations, help bridge the gap, if that makes it easier on what is the budget? Does the county have a budget? If there is no budget, will you allow us as the district to bring to the board to decide whether we can apply for grants on behalf of the county-owned parcel? Our problem is, as a district, even if we had $10 billion today and could fix all the lakes in all the world, on county-owned parcels, a lot of those require an Article 15 or Article 24 permit, depending on what type of, it's a DEC permit, whether it's for the actual body of water. Sometimes you need a permit to actually do the repair of the dam. This particular one is a Class A. I don't believe there's a permit required to repair the dam itself. It's just to do all of the things, that he was saying about the water quality and everything else. There are permits required for that. We can't apply on behalf of the county because we're not the parcel owner. Dixon Lake, Friends of Dixon Lake cannot apply for that permit because they are not the parcel owner. So a broader thing of, this has been going on for a while. The county said buy the parcel for $1. Great, that's not happening. If that can get moved along, that would be fantastic in the interim to address the problem. We're, as a board, willing to help navigate and help Dixon Lake and the county come to something where somebody can fix the problem. So that is the main summary of that. The question I have about the beaver though, no, I'm not DC, so do not shoot the messenger here, okay? I have nothing against beavers. However, DEC's permit for their specific guidance for 2025 for dams and regulation is they explicitly, strangely say you cannot trap and relocate it for a nuisance beaver. They offer permits to, unfortunately, exterminate the beaver. There's a permit to just exterminate the beaver. There's a permit to clear the beaver dam materials, and also comes with the option of exterminating the beaver or doing culvert maintenance. I have seen nothing, because Lord knows, we have checked and we've talked to DC, we've talked to everybody. So I'm curious about the permit that was received by DPW to trap and relocate it, because I would love to hear about that, know about that, because we've talked to DC and they told us that's never an option. So that's a question I have right now. Wow, we're all on the same road.
The answer is, it's a PG form, so we said relocate.
Okay, I know, I want to make sure because there
Yes,
is.
the permit,
okay.
yeah.
We're gonna relocate, good, go into a
Yes.
farm somewhere.
You never say you're gonna move again.
So there is the question on that because that has been a point of contention. I was against that too. Again, that's DEC, take it up with them. But so that will be taken care of. There will be no more beaver dams continue to be built because he's going on to his new home. Correct?
Far away.
Is there a time frame for that?
We
to
just,
occur?
we just got the permit while I was away, so it just came in this week.
So within like a month, just because when the beaver makes the dam, right, then Sycamore Park floods and everything else floods and everybody's mad and then everybody's getting calls. So is that something within a month, you'd say?
Perhaps we don't want to put the beaver on notice right now.
Right.
Perhaps he's not watching the live stream, but I just, that way I don't have to, I put on my calendar, do not bother anyone at DPW or this county for a month.
We also, we notify people when we're gonna stop construction or start construction, things like that. Something like this, somebody might have a grievance on, so we try and keep it, we'll just do it as quickly as we can. We know, listen, this has been the wettest summer ever. I don't remember a summer like this much rainfall. And we understand we're coming into the storm season next, so it's definitely on our schedule.
Thank you. Legislator?
Yeah, along those lines, from a legal perspective, we have chapter 31 of our county code, which talks about the disposition of county property. Joe, I'm glad to hear you did speak with Mike Dean in our finance department. He's our guru when it comes to tax tax foreclosures. And if this one was foreclosed in '86, it's been on our property rolls for quite a while. And one of the things I recall, and I'm not the expert on this, and I would of course defer to our law department in a different, outside of today's meeting. But I also know we have provisions for substandard parcels to be sold to adjoining landowners, in the sense that, not that the parcel is substandard for use, it's just substandard for new construction or for anything like that. So there are avenues, Mr. Chairman, in our code right now that we could pursue. And perhaps if the committee wants to send a letter to the law department, I wouldn't ask anybody to give legal advice today in an open forum, but maybe to lay out for this committee the next steps as far as if that is a possibility under chapter 31. I know it's been done before, but certainly that type of thing, we probably want to have an internal discussion. But as a policy matter, I think the plan and the vision that you folks have is certainly something to applaud. And the rejuvenation of the lake. I grew up in Lake Cassie in the Hopac, and we were part of a homeowners association as well, and had lake rights. So I know it's an important thing for the community. So I would just offer that to the
Thank you.
committee.
That's a great idea. Go ahead.
No, I didn't have, I was pointing over to.
Thank you, Chairman. So this is something that I've been working on with Lake Baldwin since 2022, 2023. And it's so similar, and I feel a lot of frustration. I understand where you're coming from. So I want to say 2022, 2023, we met with the homeowners, we met with the town of Carmel and the town of Carmel's attorney about what to do if they wanted to create a lake district. So they would have a taxing lake district, so that the town of Carmel would take over the lake. They would have a taxing district, but the homeowners didn't want to do that. They had to get a certain percentage of homeowners on board to do that, and they said they didn't want to do it. So then they moved on to possibility of a 501c3. In 2022, 23, I met with, I met with the law department, I met with Mike Dean, I met with Soil and Water, I met with environmental health, and outside counsel. And we had this whole discussion back in 2023 about what to do with these lakes. And when I spoke with Mike Dean at that time, he said, this is pretty simple. We could probably get those off our docket immediately. And then there was a big brick wall with the environmental health in Putnam County. And nothing ever happened. Everything got dropped. I followed up what's going on. We can't do anything right now. So it's just a huge frustration. I think we have the heart to do it. We have the ability to do it. I want to say the foreclosures in this county were really slowed down over COVID, but this is 2026 now. We need to really get on this. I feel your frustration. I think they need to be turned over to these homeowners associations, the 501c3s that want to take care of it instead of letting these lakes die. I know that the Lake Baldwin Tax District, I don't know what they're calling themselves now, but they want to do the same thing. They don't want to let their lake die. They want to be able to mow around it and take care of it and not have to deal with the DEC. I think this belongs in the law department, and we need to, as Legislator Birmingham talked about, is can't we revive this again to get these parcels into the hands of the people who want to care for them? I mean, I sat over in that building over there, and everybody was like gung-ho to get it done, and then all of a sudden there was a big brick wall, and I followed up, and I'm like, we can't do it right now. We have things going on in the health department. I don't know, it couldn't happen, but I really think this needs to happen sooner than later, because there's so many other properties right now that are, I don't know how many there are. I've talked to Mike Dean, he's the expert, but especially to a community like Dixon, who really wants to take care of it, and working with our new Soil and Water District, who's adamant about helping and getting these lakes revived. And Mr. Doherty, I did get your email that you sent out to Seth, and I appreciate you following up with this. I think getting all the lake associations on the same page, because there's a lot of them out there who who are just learning and discovering this, you did talk about the raking in that, the hydro rake. Is there a way to contract out for that and maybe have the Soil and Water Conservation District help with funding to hydro rake each of these lakes? I don't know, I mean, I know the Lake District was, they were talking about purchasing a hydro
So-
rake, but would it be more beneficial to?
That's part of the conversation
Contract?
is, like, when we went to a regional district manager meeting where nobody else, in our region, in our soil and water district region deals with as many water problems as we do. We just have a disproportionate amount of water here. That said, the conversation was, certain equipment that the district owns and then, allows municipalities or districts or private landowners to use. Hydro rates are wildly expensive, like
Right.
near $1 million from what
I
I've
looked
seen.
it up after I got the email, and
And so my intention is to, and we've talked about this as a board, what type of equipment, what type of this, I mean, again, we just got our money in April, right? So hopefully for the remainder of the year is a lot of outreach and a bringing together of all the lake communities, all
Yeah.
of those people, saying, what do you guys need? Because the thought is in, not only it's an municipal agreement, but an agreement between everybody where perhaps we can go and apply for a grant through WPIP or something like that to purchase a hydro rake. That then the towns, not only the towns, maybe the county for county-owned parcels, let's say, everybody could essentially use that. So that is something that is a discussion that we've been wanting to have. But again, some of these things, we can't hydro rake Dixon Lake right now without the county signing off on a permit or giving it to the other parcel owner.
But
like
does the
giving it over
county,
to
the
Dixon.
county doesn't own the
They do.
lakes.
They
They
do.
don't,
This
they
particular
do?
one, they do.
own Lake Dixon?
Correct.
I thought they couldn't take ownership, correct me if I'm wrong, but I didn't think we could take over ownership of these because there's too much risk involved, and so they kind of hang out there in limbo because the county cannot foreclose.
In the 80s, they did. So maybe that's new. They
Oh, so
know
maybe
about
not,
that.
because
The
I,
parcel is listed under the county ownership.
This particular one.
Can, I ask the clerk to send a letter that, let's send it around the hand and say it should, just suggested to
Yes.
the opponent. Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
I think, I'm sorry, just through the chair, also, the administration's not here, but the administration's behind it also, so they're very supportive of.
I know they
this.
were
Yeah.
supportive, and that's why
They
I'm so
were
dumbfounded by how
A
this,
year ago, 2 years ago, and
just
I
so much
spoke recently,
turnover and things have happened, the commissioner of finance, I know we had a lot of turnover here.
they're
Just
supportive
stopped.
of it, so.
That's great. Administration, legislature, supportive of it.
Right.
Law department said this can happen. Let's make this happen. Tom Doherty?
I had one more comment regarding the hydro raking. I know that Lake Osseo recently won a grant to help hydro rake their small pond. That was done with a couple of hydro rakes. I'd never seen them like this before. This particular style was like a skid steer on a pontoon boat. And it seemed like, I watched when they were hydro raking, and it seemed like they could if they got them up, they could barely, move, manipulate in water because it's so front heavy, the prop is coming out of the water. But I went up there just a couple of days ago to take a look at it. And I think the gist of it is people are rather disappointed in what the hydro raking was capable of doing. I was told that the entire $40,000 was gone and it cost them a bit more money for the community. I guess there was a seeker study that ate up most of that $40,000. So, the state giveth and taketh away, But, so, I think to get a hydro rake that is more like a backhoe, with much longer reach, can dig down deeper, has more capacity, is what's necessary for these lakes. So that's my suggestion there. I did speak recently with two other lake associations, and they've expressed interest in that email that I sent about maybe Friends of Dixon Lake becoming a lake management, you know, with board members from each member lake. And to be able to approach the actual maintenance and stewardship of all the lakes that participate. So they definitely sound very excited about something like that. And I guess there's other lakes that have issues with insurance. They haven't known where to find insurance. I found someone that can give us, you know, reasonable quote for lake insurance. It's what they do. And so I gave that contact information to Lake Haven, but he still sounds, he's very distressed that because I guess they may have had a lawsuit back some time ago, and every member in the association was essentially on the hook for this lawsuit. The plaintiff lost the case, but which, you know, was good for the association, but you know, still they I think so many of the members were worried that their membership has actually it's much lower now than it has been. So he sounded very interested in the plan that I had. The idea that we were just kicking around last week. I suggested, well, you know, as far as protecting the members of the lake, maybe we set up a 501c4 for each of the lakes so that they, at least the membership are protected from these kind of lawsuits, you know, and you go by just liability insurance is about the most, you know, would cover, you know, any kind of suit. So,
Chairman, council had their hand up as well.
Thank you. I'll let City Council, would like to say a few words on that.
So I'm substitute legislative counsel for Heather, but I'm also a member of the law department. So on behalf of the law department,
Is your mic on?
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Sorry, I'm getting old.
it's okay. I sense the frustration of everyone with this issue. And I've taken copious notes. I'm going to take it back to the county attorney. And we will do our best to assist. And I'm sorry that you had that frustrating meeting that didn't come to fruition.
Nothing happened.
So, you know, whatever I can do on behalf of the county, I'm gonna take all of this back to the law department.
That's great news. You know, it sounds like everything is going in the right direction here. Everyone's supportive of this. So if we can get legal to tell us in a timely manner, we can put a vote on this next month.
Thanks.
Any comments, any additional comments from anyone in the audience? Yes, come on up and state your name and what you want to do.
Hi, I'm Janet Robinson. I live on 74 Chestnut Ridge Road. My property is on Dixon Lake on the west side, northwest side. And I want to say my husband and I, George, have been here for over 50 years. And we've watched the lake be healthy, be eutrophied, get healthy again, because they drained the whole lake one time to down where it was just looking at stumps. And but I really want to talk about the pond beavers, which we always called muskrats. They're not the big beaver that takes down trees and blocks dams and everything. This is a small critter, smaller than kind of about that big. And we've watched them have their dams on the lake, and I have never seen them cause the flooding. I think what's causing the flooding right now, of course, is the rain, the heavy rain. And it usually takes care of itself within a certain amount of time. But to decide to trap, annihilate, and everything, the pond beaver, which is what the muskrat is called, is to me not the most urgent thing. The most urgent thing is the eutrophication of Dixon Lake, the weeds, as Joe mentioned, especially this invasive weed, Joe?
Water chestnut.
The water chestnut, which we used to have water lilies at certain seasons covering the lake, and they were not invasive, they were always there. But these water chestnuts are a really big problem. And so getting the machines that can help with the weeds and everything is, as Joe said, these things kill the oxygen, destroy the fish. I have on my fireplace a wide-mouth bass this big that my 10-year-old son caught at one time. And we actually had it taxidermed because it was really big. And so the lake used to be good for fishing, good for kayaking and recreation. And now, because of cattails that surround the lake, and I've talked to Land and Water about the cattails, and they say, well, they're good for the red-winged blackbird, the red-winged, because we're also in a bird corridor. And so there's reasons why we don't want to eliminate the, for the bird people especially, the cattails. But the beavers feed on the cattails. They eat, not to the sense that they're going to destroy all the food for the birds, but they feed on the stems of the cattails. And that's their main food. So the beavers have always been a part of the ecological system of Dixon Lake. And I think the dam definitely needs to be repaired and made higher. But I don't think we can blame the beaver totally for that or annihilate the beaver. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Any comments from the legislature? Thank you all for coming, and this will progress very nicely. Thank you.
Just when I get the bracket, huh?
Okay, moving on to number 5.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. All right, moving on to number 5, we have discussion on an update of Fast Street. In addition to the update, a few days ago, we know we had a major rainstorm, about 8+ inches of rain. And I received a few phone calls, and I've seen it on social media, and we needed really an explanation on why some of those walls have fallen down. How do we protect ourselves in the future, and that type of thing. In addition to that, thank you, we have 2 additional I'd like to add into the mix. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay. Commissioner Fury, would you like to start out?
Yes, so it's a little more complicated than just the wall and so, and I invite anybody who wants to, from the legislature, come over to the office. We have weekly progress meetings. Because honestly, going back and forth like this is, really, you get more questions than answers a lot of times, right? And everybody's welcome to come over for any part of it or any part of any project we do. One of the things that everybody has to realize here is when this project first came out, it came out under federal and state funding, right? Which had formulas related to DPEs, which is minority company ownership or percentage of, right? So each percentage, depending on how Fed heavy or state heavy it was, changed. I don't know exactly this one. It was probably 10%. So lots of times what happens with these projects are they're subs, right? So the subs will do
Subcontract.
subcontractor, and they'll take on certain tasks. Lots of times it's landscaping. It's like what we're calling landscape walls essentially, and that's what failed. So that wall, when was getting constructed, the subcontractor, and I don't want to get involved with names either right now, but the subcontractor there was more than one thing, it wasn't even walls, there was more than one thing we had a problem with from our engineering staff. And we also have a CI team, a construction, inspection team from Creighton Manning, who are very reputable and on it. So when we saw a couple of things happen, over the winter pretty much, and the way things were being constructed, planted, some items like that, we immediately, went to our CI team and said, we're not gonna accept it. So, that particular wall was rejected at least 4 months ago, it's gotta be 4 months. Yeah. For some reason at that point, and we had conversations, just take it down, because it's gonna fall down. And sure enough, it fell down, and then they kept it there. I'm not sure what's going on with them and a contractor, but it's got nothing to do with us, right? We rejected it, we don't pay for it. Now, our contractor will replace it to the specs, which I sent you guys today, the specs for this particular wall, right? You referred that I did also to the rain. Lots of times especially these landscape type, I'm just kind of a landscape type walls, which are DOT approved. They work much better when they have a foundation for their foundation, right? It's a tampered, all this is a tampered stone, which layman's terms would be item 4, and it's done in lifts. So it's rolled or it can be tampered by machinery. And depending on the spec, it'll tell you how many inches you can put per lift, how much it has to be tampered, and then how many lifts it may take. The wall in question never had any protection, so it didn't have a sidewalk, it didn't have a curb, things like that, which would stop most of we lost, most people, before this job started, we probably lost 5 truckloads of item 4 that we had put in through a storm, which was covered by a steel grate. That's what really pushed us to jump, to really get this job started, because the underground, especially on that everything comes downhill, right? So everything from the gas station is going a half a mile and just picking up more water and more steam, and they probably should never even started that wall prior to having curbing that would have protected it also. So long and short of it is, we rejected it a long time ago. It's going to be taken down and put back up as per spec, as per DOT spec, and we haven't paid any money on it, or will we? So
You mentioned that they probably should not have started the wall. As the contractor, the DPW, are you allowed to tell them, no, don't do that now?
So
Wait
we're the
for
customer,
Yeah.
right?
Customer.
So, and I'm not being, no semantics, right?
No, it's fine, I
It's,
understand.
so we're
I
the
don't know
customer.
construction, so thank you.
So what happens is, and we're the customer for you and the taxpayers, right? We can't direct outside of, through our CI team, right? Because then that becomes a change order or some other dirty word. So we can go to our CI team and say, which we did, we're the first ones to say, hey, we don't like, that shouldn't be going up there in that manner. And sure enough, it failed.
Thank you. Did we pay them yet?
Well, yeah, but not for the wall. So,
Not for the wall.
yeah, so it's through completions, and then it's through, actually, there's phases where you pay for it. So that'll be part of a certain phase.
Do we have any controls in place ourselves, DPW, the county, to make sure that this doesn't really happen? Or happen in the future?
If you're doing a bathroom in your own house, you may have a contractor and he just does something you didn't like, you're gonna have to change it. Like, we can immediately, when we see something wrong, stop it, which we did. Whatever happened with them and their sub, why they left it up, which was silly and embarrassing for everybody, to be honest. We can't control that.
It's funny you say that, because I actually have someone working on my bathroom as we speak.
I wish you luck.
Let's say that, D'Angelo?
Yeah, thank you, and I appreciate you guys providing this information. Before I even talk about this, I do just want to say I am disappointed in the lack of communication. I do understand you work for the executive, but as you are here tonight, you do answer to the legislature as well. This is a big project in my district. This is a project that's been quite disruptive to residents in my district. All construction's disruptive, and that's fine. If I get calls about it, and if I get a call about a wall going down that I didn't hear about, it makes me seem as if I'm not doing my job. And I think if we have time, you know, to take videos with the county executive on Fair Street to talk about the project, we can certainly, it's a professional courtesy, it's not a direction. I would just appreciate if we could do that from now on. So you have a CM or a CI, I guess you're working alongside. I mean, I'm doing a ton of retaining wall in Dutchess County right now, and they have CM running the project, but I mean, members of the DPW are still out there doing site visits, and they will notice things. No, they don't direct us, because then you get into the category, you know, the territory of change orders and whatnot, but they'll report back. So, I mean, was anyone out there visiting the site in the field?
Every day,
Okay.
every day.
And I mean, I asked for some backup and I got some. I don't see anything that says that you guys rejected this wall. I mean, I see dating back to November 20th, that they were talking about that the area for the wall is excavated, and the prep's continuing. And I think it was, December the 14th. It was actually December the 12th that the capstones were put in place but not glued down, which is, I mean, typical in that weather. But it looks like the wall was built and completed in December. I don't see a rejection anywhere, but then obviously on August 4th, it says that the wall came down due to unprotected leveling pad. That's why I really did want to see photos. What does that mean that the leveling pad was unprotected? And you mean that the impervious fill wasn't done, as well as the drainage and the drainage aggregate, and it was just basically the wall and the leveling pad just sitting there for 7 months?
All due respect, I've never had this before, right? So
Right.
I started by saying I welcome any legislator to our office. But to go step by step and call up a legislator because of, we do jobs every single day. There's 15 jobs going on right now.
Right.
And I don't expect to have to go, if I was to tell anybody, would go to the chair of physical and say, hey, listen, we've got a big problem. This is not a big problem. This is a landscape wall, which we rejected, which is getting put back up. And I gave you my number, and my door's open every day. You can come by anytime you want, and I can even bring the engineers in on record that will tell you exactly where we are with this job. So no,
Right.
so the premise of I've got time to take videos is silly, right? You can come see me anytime you want. I'll meet you at 12 o'clock at night, whatever you want. But we also don't respond or can't respond to everybody that's asking questions. There's, you know, neighbors are on that wall.
Right,
That
well, so
call us
I-
every single day that we respond to as fast as we can, just so they know we're on it. We're not letting it
Okay.
drop. in
So
the
this
ball.
is, I mean, this is, from my understanding, the largest project the county's ever undertaken. This isn't a small thing. I know it's a small component of a much larger scale job. But don't you think that on a job like that, where, I mean, you know how constituents and residents have felt about it. I mean, you don't think it was worth mentioning that a wall failed?
Absolutely not.
I'm not asking for like an update that it's going well, but I'm just
I will give
curious.
you a job you're on. Trim was put up with trim nails. That was rejected. Okay,
Right. Yeah.
so that
I
happens
don't
all the
recall
time.
that Either, but I don't see a rejection here. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Obviously, look, I just want to be clear. I'm not here to make anyone look bad.
Gentlemen, on a
or
point of
look
order, you're
good.
supposed to speak through the chair. You're going directly to the
Sure.
chair.
Okay, through the chair. And look, I'm not here to make anyone look good or bad. I'm
Well,
simply
you
here
just
to get.
insulted me, sorry, through the chair, but
Well,
you
if that's
just-
how you get-
that I got time to take
I'm
videos.
reclaiming my
I didn't
time.
get up.
I'm gonna reclaim, I'll reclaim my time.
Let's sort of call you
Um,
had something to add?
No,
I'm
I'm-
gonna ask a question when
okay.
legislator D'Angelo's done.
Right. So again, I'm not here to make anyone look good or bad. I'm here to get answers. It's not nice. It's not right to be caught off guard with questions like that. Find out through Facebook videos, et cetera. It's a big project. And if you've taken offense to what I've said, I'm just objectively laying facts out. I'm sorry that you take offense to that. I'm just trying to get answers. I'm curious to see if you did reject it. And if that's the case, then whatever, then the wall had to come down anyway. I don't see that. I'm going off of what I have in front of me. What I have in front of me seems to be a retaining wall that was left for 7 months, and blew out. And so that leads me to think, how are the rest of the retaining walls on this project? How is this project being conducted. It's happened on other situations. It's a massive construction project, you know, so I just want to make sure that, A, I wanted answers on this, but also B, it's also, you know, certainly maybe lift an eyebrow just to make sure that we're on top of these things.
Yeah, and, moving forward, any issues, just reach out to whatever legislator might be.
Through the chair, it's gonna be you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, reach out to me
So-
and I'll make sure
Right,
that
but
everyone's aware. of it.
we, through the chair, we have problems and we have adjustments on every single job we do. I don't care if it's a $400 job, right?
Mhm.
We have, even if it's something internally here, we'll have somebody that doesn't like where we put a door or doesn't like where the size of a window, whatever that is. And we change that. I mean, you're in the business, right?
I am.
Right. So you understand how this goes. You know, and.
Right, which is why I have
Which is,
questions, yeah.
yeah, and again, we have progress meetings every week. You're welcome, you have my cell phone number.
Well,
So
how
don't
would I
look
know
at-
that until
I-
tonight? That's the problem, is we could
My
have
cell
avoided
phone?
all of this. No,
Sorry,
no,
through
there's
chair?
progress meetings. I mean, this is still, again, this is the
I'd like-
first I'm hearing of that. I think we
let's-
could have
let's-
avoided it being a discussion.
Let's be civil.
I'm just asking questions. I'm,
Okay, well, the truth of the matter is, through chair, I gave, the legislator my phone number and an open invite anytime the legislator wants to come over.
right, and I appreciate that, but
And I'm not on Facebook.
Well,
Thank you.
that's
I
fine.
know with the Peach Hollow Road project, you were very helpful, and, when I called, you were able to respond, and, I was very thankful for that.
You'll, through the chair, you'll never find a legislator that didn't get an answer from us, from our department. And that project was an absolute nightmare. That makes this look like nothing.
Well, I
And it doesn't matter, the number of the price number of the project doesn't change how we treat the project. Like I said, if it's a $400 project, we're gonna treat it just like the $30 million project.
And you have it in the past, you have it.
Yeah.
Let's split it up. Let's do it.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just like to state that I do recall during conversations that have come up previous, specifically with Fair Street, that project meeting invite has been spoken about. I've heard that myself, I'm gonna say at least 2 times over the course of my tenure here, because this is not the first issue that's come up with Fair Street. So whether it was Commissioner Tom or Deputy Joe, I've heard that open invite for us to attend the project status meetings on a weekly basis. So I tell you, Jake, I've heard that here before. Thank you, Chair.
Is that quality? Okay.
I have a question on a different side of things. So when something like this happens, this is different. Obviously you just said you reject jobs all the time. This is a job that is on Fair Street. We have people that walk up and down the street all the time. So it was rejected. Was there, do you guys take safety of pedestrians into consideration and fence it off or use something, because God forbid it fell, let's say, with a kid walking down the street from school? Is that something that we need to take into like precautionary in the future? You know, if something is deemed unsafe or failing or unacceptable and it's out in the public, is that something that we need to put into procedurally to make sure that people are safe and aware that this is an unsafe site and it needs to be gated off or something?
100%. And then, you know, the first thing we do is safety, right? So, but when you're looking at something that just slid, and it's not even going close to encroaching on the shoulder itself. It wasn't even on the shoulder. So, you know.
I'm just
And
asking
again,
what your safety.
You know,
what-
again, we try to stay away from means, methods, and anything to that sort with the contractor and their subs, because that just opens up another can of worms where we've directed and now it becomes a change order. And that's something that our department, we speak about weekly. You know, you can't have that discussion about, you know, mobilizing people unless it truly is a safety hazard, which we've done. So we've had, you know, last year on Kelly Ridge, let's say, there was a pothole because the rain popped up, and, you know, we called them in immediately and said, listen, you're in charge of the state of this road during the course of this project. And they were very responsive. They came right out, fixed the pothole. You know, we had them put steel plates in places where we thought it wasn't safe enough. So,
Okay, I was just wondering, because I didn't know, you know, in proximity to, like I said, people walking or things like that during the winter. And the summer, it's been bad. Obviously, it came down because of, you know, it wasn't built right, but I didn't know if that was something that you did, and, you know, if it would have needed a fence or something like that, just to let people know, you know, it's not stable right now.
if, in other words, if it was on the other side of the street, you know, where the sidewalk is, if you are closer to the road, we most certainly would have had it change it right away.
Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Every federal project also has a, like a 200-300 page health and safety plan associated with it too, so that's
One
all.
more comment from, let's say, Dean, and then we'll go to the audience.
Yeah, so I just want to follow up on the initial questions that I had, and so when was this rejected? Because it sounds like on this email from August 4th, it doesn't sound like they're talking about a rejected wall. I mean, it looks to me that they're talking about a wall that they're going to just repair. It doesn't sound like it was
Well, it's
rejected.
nice, we have a contractor saying that, we agree with your rejection, we'll put it back up, but if you need the emails, we can send them to you.
No, I mean, this looks like it's coming from your CI. I guess my next question is,
Well, that, and sorry, not to cut you off, that's the proper way to do it, right? It's gotta go through the CI, doesn't go from us to the
yeah,
contractor.
but it's saying the contractor is I mean, this looks like this is from the CI speaking to you guys, not an email to you guys from the contractor through that. All right, so regardless, were we on top of all the other retaining walls during the process of it being constructed? Because the reason being is if you leave a retaining wall like this and you don't have the drainage aggregate, you don't create a pathway for water, and the leveling pad is sitting there and being disturbed, I mean, we could have major problems in the future with walls coming down.
Right, and through the chair, Joe just reminded me that there was a winter shutdown too, so that was at the end of that piece, so that would have, you know, there was a window there when they tried to finish it, when they shouldn't have, they did, and then it was rejected when they came back, so.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that it was rejected and we weren't just gonna go ahead and allow them to backfill after 7 months, because at
Correct.
that point, the integrity would have been greatly compromised.
We agree, we totally agree. Through the chair.
Okay,
Thank
And,
you very much.
you know, through the chair, also, on all these projects, all these have to be inspected and signed off by the resident engineer, from CIT, right?
right,
So
Our
that,
engineer?
it's the one we hired, again, we're the customer, right? So these, all these pieces of this whole project get signed off on and have daily inspections the whole way through. So all that can be, presented sometime.
Thank you. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll move on to the audience. Does anyone in the audience want to say a few words? Please state your name and be respectful and
Frank
sign
Sienna.
up to the sheet.
What am I not?
I
Respect.
don't mean it a bad way. just,
Take it easy, Mr. Goodman, okay?
Thank you.
Jake, thank you for supporting your people in your local, in your area. You, first time I ever heard you say something nice about the people and protecting us. I never heard that out of your mouth, which is nice. And I'm not here to pick on nobody, but I said something 3-4 months ago, the wall was no good. So if you're getting a bathroom done and you don't like the work, do you stop it or you let them finish? Answer the question.
That is a good question.
It's not back and forth.
So, you know, if there's no back and forth,
We can't do that. We can't do back and forth. Public comment, you get to say.
okay, well, you're not gonna let them finish, you're not gonna be happy, you're gonna stop them where they are, rip it down and redo it.
Okay.
You don't keep on going. It winds up costing money and problems later on, and I'm not picking on Tommy because I love this guy, I love this guy right here, these guys are the best. But whoever inspected that wall and didn't like it, which there was no geogrid, no drainage, come on, people, I was there every day. You want me to start showing you videos? Where's the drains? There's nothing. No geogrid in that wall. What are we doing? It was rejected, should have been taken down. Like she said, anybody could have got hurt. Good God, it was only 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. And nobody was walking past. Imagine we did put the sidewalks in. You don't think that wall's gonna come down, Tommy? That wall was coming down no matter what. The keyways broke the first month. When the keyways break, you can't stop it, guys. It's over. So, I'm not here to pick on nobody, but we gotta start watching everything, and the inspectors on this job, we gotta hold them to a higher standard then. That's what we have to do.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments from the audience?
How's it going, everyone? Mr. Goldman, I think we spoke on the phone. I'm Cooper McCulloch. I'm the student from Putnam Valley. Listen, I just want to speak on more broadly about the road conditions in Putnam County. Now, I've seen with Fair Street, with Croton Falls, and especially Church Road in my community, Putnam Valley, our community, it's in very poor condition. Now, I just want to say a little fact real quick. The New York State Department of Transportation, District 8, they focus more on the highways, but they've graded us the lowest in New York State, about 46%, something around there. My question was about what the resurfacing about these different roads, because I'm a new driver and I'm very concerned. It's very poor graded. What are we doing with the resurfacing? And again, I don't know much about the money schemes and how things get passed, so I don't want to comment on any of that and how long things take, but, it's a concern to me, it's a concern to my community, so I just want to know, how can we speed up the resurfacing project? Is there something going on with resurfacing in these county roads? I just want to know.
I'm not sure.
Or Thomas Ferry, how are you doing about it?
Through chair, yeah, a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand, that's the wrong word, but the difference in the county road, town road, village road, they're all different, right? And the state road. In fact, 2 months ago, I presented, with the legislature, I presented our rating. In the last 4 years now, almost four full, we've gone from just a rating of just below, I think it was 67, and now after this year, we expect to be up in the low 90s, which is kind of amazing. Being in Region 8, which is the worst road condition in the whole state, and bridge and in the whole state. We can only work on our roads. What we've done now also with towns and villages through our shared services program is we have in fact, next week we're going down to Cold Spring to help them with a small piece of roadway to be paved. I just can't speak for state roads, but I know our county roads have gotten exponentially better. A lot of them have to do with the big projects, right? I mean, Peaksville Hollow Road was 4 miles. This one's gonna be almost 2. We're finishing Farms Market right now, should be done by tomorrow morning, line stripe tomorrow night. Major roadways that were rated below 4 that are now, going to be, especially after this next, they're gonna be top rated in the state, so.
Yeah, I live on Peekskill Hollow, so I was very pleased with all the work down there. I also want to ask you, Thomas, another question. I remember when I called Mr. Goldman, I spoke to him on the phone about this parking lot area near the North American Martyrs Church, and how there's a lot of gravel. It was a terrible sight, and I'm seeing these people, these senior citizens parking there, and they're having a difficult time getting out. It's next to a county road, like Oswan. I was just a little curious, like, did you assess the area? Is it the church's responsibility or the county's responsibility?
Hold on. Well, let's go on the topic. If you want to add something later, you can.
Yes, sir. I apologize.
Thank you.
So number one, if you want to ask a question like that, and you wanna go on the agenda, you can email the chair, and he can put you on the agenda to address certain things, or email Tommy or through the legislature to do that, so you have a method to get your question answered.
Okay.
That's how that works. No,
We're on the
that's how.
topic of roads.
Yeah,
I was
no,
just
so
curious.
it's gotta stick to what it is, just so you know. Secondly, also, I just wanted to chime in a little bit. We did move $2.6 million. Uber.
I'm so sorry.
No, we did move $2.6 million, that we had for ARPA funding that had to be changed around towards now paving. It's gotten much more expensive to pave, Tommy can tell you that, and a lot of the products that they use for the paving have changed over the years, which, I think we can all agree doesn't make it as durable as it used to be. We can look at when we paved into Route 6, and I think they were supposed to do the whole road, and that was the state job, correct? That was the state on that.
Correct.
And look at the roads now. So it was supposed to be 3 inches of 3 inches of asphalt, correct? That was done. It was, maybe 1.5 inches that was laid down. So I do think we need to hold them more accountable, but we do have more funding coming in for paving and for fixing the roads.
Thank you, Legislator Crawford.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other last minute comments from the audience or from the legislature? Okay, thank you all for your comments. Very informative and very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, moving on to item number 6. The discussion on the future of 34 Gleneida Avenue in Carmel. We had a good discussion last month on this. We kind of had a consensus among all of us. And, I'm giving us the last opportunity, if anyone else has any other comments, to, move forward before we have a vote. For many years, we've had many different discussions on what we should do with this location. This committee would like to make sure that the public has their say in what we do over here. As of today, we have not received any additional ideas or comments in the legislature from the last meeting. So before I put this up for a vote for next month, I'd like to see if any additional comments are out there. Any comments from the audience on what we should do with 34 Gleneida that we haven't talked about already? Yeah.
My name is Paul Kamara. I own a significant amount of real estate. I just want to be clear, I don't own any property within a mile of this location, so I'm not talking for my self-interest here. I'm talking for the county's interest, for the community's interest. I'm hopeful the board is going to completely get away from the idea of selling that property. And I'm very hopeful that we'll move to take down that building and open that area as a public space overlooking the lake. And I know that if you go in that direction, things take time. You gotta put out proposals out there and get bidding for engineers, architects, what have you. I'm here to offer you the opportunity to decide to not sell it and move in that direction. That while you're going through all these steps, so to speak, I'd be very happy to fund the engineers to get the ball rolling. And as soon as you guys get your own thing together and go through the legal steps, I'd be very happy to have my engineers, shouldn't say mine, the engineers I've been using for 30 years, step away and you guys can take it. And I'd be willing to have them come to the next meeting that you think deemed appropriate, listen to the public's comments, listen to your comments. Start getting something on the wall here that we could move to make that happen, if that's the plan. But to get it rolling, because many times good ideas somehow get lost in government. With good intentions, but things happen, and crises happen, and focus changes. So I'd love to see a vote to keep this piece of property, don't sell it, remove that building. Let's set up a chamber park type park here, just like you have down in Mahopac. And I'm willing to help for as long as you need me to help. And then you guys go set it all up and run with the ball. Right? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience like to comment?
Hi, everyone. Rich Othmer, down Kent. I'm coming tonight as a veteran, with VFW and the American Legion next door to the Putnam Motors building, and I just did a little research here. I'm not gonna regurgitate what I said last month, but you know what we wanted as a space for the Memorial Day, Veterans Day. You have the Christmas parade, you have all these functions there, and you saw the photographs, what it would look like with a park, a green space in front of it, so even though I just regurgitated, I promise I won't do it again. All right, so I did a little research here, and I was looking, I think, Tommy, Joe, the courthouse was done in 2004, it was built. So I went back in the minutes of the legislature, physical services, and to see when this issue popped up. 2005 was the first meeting with the physical services committee about this, about what they were gonna do. They were kicking the can around. I know I called Bob Bondy up at his farm upstate New York, and the site plans that I showed you last week, they showed the elevations of the courthouse, and it did not have the Putnam Motors building in it. So the original intention was to take it down and have that as a clear space in front, but then they didn't do it because when they were doing all the construction, if anyone remembers back then, 52 was one big traffic jam, and to do a demolition job with the construction job at the same time, it would have been a mess. And then right after that, Dan, this building here, I know I was up on the roof with as a lifetime mason contractor. I was up there and we were trying to fix the parapet and, you know, and this building needed a lot of work. I believe this whole third floor was empty, right? Wasn't it? Besides county executive, there was a ghost town up here. So they had to do all these repairs to this old building, and then they moved the Dennis Sant and the county clerk into the Putnam Motors building temporarily, and then it kind of got stuck in a quagmire there. So anyway, it was spoke about first in 2005, then it came back up again. Dan, you're all through here. It came up again in
Is that good or
2007.
bad? Is that good or bad?
What's that?
Is it
It's
good or
good.
bad?
No, you're good. You're a good person. I endorse you. All right. So, let's say that Birmingham asked how many points of egress and ingress there'll be. Basically, you guys in 2007 were, discussing how the exits and entrances would be with the building down. Would you come out, would you go over by the Knights of Columbus or the schools, and it was kicked around, and then it was dropped again, and then it was brought back up in 2008. And that's when they were doing a study of all the buildings, all the buildings in the county-owned buildings. And, Dan, I'll give you an attaboy here. Chairman Tamagnan stated that, for the record, hypothetically, what if we wanted to take down the old car dealership which is blocking the new courthouse at this point? We need to know from an engineering perspective, would that be included in this campus? And then Dan, you came in and said the way the bond, we're getting a $100,000 bond. You had to change the resolution to include it as the David Bruin building and site. So you can encompass the engineering study of taking the building down. It was passed unanimously by the Physical Services Committee, and then it went to the fall. And on March 4, 2008, it was tabled, and it never came up again. I came into office in 2009. I brought it up. I was basically, wasn't the right time. If you look in the history of Putnam County, there was a lot going on then, and other things, which I will not mention here. But it was kind of just put on hold, and it was buried, and it never came up again. So I just want to accentuate the point that this thing has been kicked around for 20 years, 21 years, just on the records I have, since the 22 years really, if you put it with the date of the opening of the courthouse. So it's 22 years this has been kicked around. It's time to make a move. All you people, your legislators, your leaders of your sections of the county, you were elected for a certain reason. Mr. Gorbachev ripped down this wall, ripped down this courthouse. Yeah, I mean, your leaders, I tell you, I'm kind of jealous because I wished I had the opportunity you have right now in your hand. I would love to have my name on taking that damn thing down and building a park, because once it's there, you're all going to be proud that you did it, and it's going to be a very positive thing for the county. So I just want to, I know there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, but I think it's a lifetime resident. I think it's the right thing to do. And I hope you guys all vote for it, and that's it. I think you'll be very happy in retrospect if you do. Thank you very much.
Any other comments from the audience? Okay, no other comments, I'll move to the, vote.
Yeah, I just hope if you vote tonight that we can,
No, we don't have it.
don't have a delay and we can get the ball rolling on this.
Thank you.
Once we get it rolling, I believe it won't stop.
From the legislatures,
Go ahead.
legislating.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Goldman. So I largely agree with the sentiment that, something has to be done with this property and likely it being torn down. But I do think we need to go about this the right way. I mean, ultimately, look, this is the main corridor of our county seat. This is the main corridor of my district. We have a lot of businesses there, some vacant storefronts, and I really want to make sure we're not shooting from the hip on this, and what goes there will greatly impact in a positive way our community. I mean, this is a legacy project. Whatever's done with this is going to last a long time, and a lot of the projects we've done within the county, not always just county projects, town projects too. A lot of people scratch their heads at them and maybe poke fun at them, and I want to make sure that that's avoided here. And also, I do want to also make sure we have a plan in place, and this is one of the last discussion style meetings we have about it. I'd really like to see us put a resolution together, putting out an RFEI, and kind of letting the market tell us what's the best thing we can do here, bringing qualified experts to tell us what the best thing for us to do here is. And even then, after we get a few options to have a public hearing, then hear what the public wants to do on it and decide what we want to do and put an RFP out. But, you know, I hear the sentiment that it's been 21 years, it's been a long time, and we want to do something with the building. And conversely, it has been a long time, so I don't want to, you know, I wouldn't want to see us just rip this down and go for something, you know, half-cocked. You know, I think we should, this is a project that's gonna last the test of time, and we need to do something good with it. So I do urge this committee to, you know, put a let's put a resolution to get an RFEI out. I mean, and it works with the timing. I mean, we're fast approaching the winter. I mean, even if we had a shovel ready to go in the ground tomorrow, you know, you gotta do lead abatement, asbestos abatement, knock the building down. That's gonna bring you to the winter. No one's doing site, no one's touching, we're not getting a green space there until the summer anyway. So why don't we spend the winter weighing out options strategically and be ready to hit it hard next year? There's no reason to wait another year, but there's no reason to bulldoze it tomorrow with no real plan. So I do ask this committee to, you know, let's prepare a resolution to get an RFEI out there.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, just to echo a lot of what's been said here. The good news is, and I know, Paul, you would ask the question about trying not to sell it. Thankfully, we have made progress on that front. We passed a resolution about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago, putting us on the record as taking it off of the MLS and thanking the broker that we work with for her patience. And so it's not anybody's intention, I think, because it was a 9-0 vote, which was signed by our county exec. So to that extent, we're not selling it, and we're going to hold on to it. And you know, I think, you know, we're going to see what's going to happen with it. Richie's ideas are great, and I think a lot of ideas need to be talked about. But the good thing is, it's not going anywhere as far as county ownership, and that's a good thing.
Any other comments from the legislature?
Thank you, Chairman. So, when we talked about this prior, we had a study done, it's in our backup, and we have summary findings from 2018. 2018? Backup. We've taken the sale of the existing building off the table, so we're not gonna do that. We have two left. We can demolish, we can demo, in 2018 for a cost of $200,000, or estimated demolition, paving, and landscape cost $250,000. So I mean, today's cost is gonna be quite a bit higher. And we also had an estimate of cost of rehab, which was $500,000, which is gonna be, I mean, for the county to be able to sink that much money into, I think is not gonna happen. So for me, I think that raising the building, park, whatever we decide to do, get the original plan was to have the beautiful courthouse in the background is where I would go with this. We've had the studies done, we're making the decisions one by one. I don't see why we need to wait another 22 years to make this decision. I mean, that's just where I sit. But I do want to ask through the chair, our DPW, you said that even to keep it going through the winter, there's more work that has to be done. So, I mean, and then we have to sink more money into it just to make it through the winter. Is that correct?
No, actually, it's
Okay,
actually
good.
through the chair. It's actually not an option. Last year we lived through with the boiler, and agreeing with Legislator D'Angelo, it has to get worked on now. I mean, it has to, whatever decision, you should do it sooner or later. We did get some estimates for abatement and which included a tear down.
Yeah.
And we have them. And I know that United Troops have already planning on moving out as soon as possible. They've already been looking at spaces. But you know, I also would not want to look at a condemned building over the winter on Main Street. It would look like, because we had raccoon problem there for 3 years in a row.
Can we send those somewhere, or is there a DEP requirement?
Any other comments from the
Taxidermy.
legislature? Okay, let's handle.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to repeat that I do like the idea of a green space. I think that's likely what will happen. And I know a bit about construction, but I'm not going to claim that I am an expert in market analysis, and I don't want to be arrogant enough to think that a green space might actually be the best thing there. I really truly think we're approaching the winter. No, it's been so many years already. There shouldn't be much of a rush. This is a legacy project that's going to affect the entire main corridor of our county seat. It needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done with vision. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest, the displeasures that are expressed by the members of our community, whether, again, not always just county projects, but all projects, I think that, we have this mentality of like, let's tear it down, let's do it, I don't need, I'd like to see like even a set of plans, even if it looks exactly like Richie's, because I thought it was beautiful. It's great, but we need to just make sure that that's what's being built. A good example is right in between this building and the historic courthouse. I mean, it's a pavement painted blue with park benches out there. It kind of looks like a prison yard. And that's no offense to anybody who did it, but I just don't think that it's the best use of public spaces. I want to sign off on something that is impactful, it's lasting, it's meaningful here, and that people could turn around and be proud of that it's here and not point their finger out and be like, what the hell did Putnam County do again? And that's my idea. That's why I think an RFEI would be a great idea. We listen to the market, let it tell us what to do. I bet you that it'd probably still be a green space, but then first, that's the first step of the procurement process typically anyway. You do that. And then we make a decision, we put an RFP out, we get plans drawn up, we get contractors to bid on it, and we just go and knock this out at the turn of the year. We can do that once the winter breaks, but we'd have to be proactive. We'd have to move something out of this committee, like, to do that, like, soon, very soon.
Let's call it.
I mean, we don't really have any access to much across the street due to the fact that it was sold years back. We have people that go there and fish. We do, we put up the flags, we do different things. It would be nice to be able to enjoy these beautiful things and have a green space there. And also celebrate the fact that, they're redoing the Legion next door. We do all these wonderful things year round. I would like to see a vision. I really did like Richie's proposal of, and this is me personally, of moving the driveway over and creating more of a green space. I don't think it's a bad idea to have the public weigh in at all. And I know, like I said, United for the Troops has to move out by October 1st. But I would like to hear some feedback from the public and have some understanding of if we had somebody draw up some designs and say, what do you like? What would you like to see? Or even if we send out a text message, something to the public to get some sort of feedback of what we're looking to go into, because the summaries of what this is going to cost is going to be substantial, and I do want people to enjoy it. They deserve it for the taxes that they pay here. They deserve to go out there and stay after they go fishing there, or whatever they may be, a veteran that is next door, or an employee. It doesn't matter who they are. They deserve to have something that everybody wants, and not just the 9 of us making a decision for them. So I would like some sort of feedback from the public. I think that would be a good start.
Thank you. Legislator Birmingham.
Yeah, just a brief question to echo a little bit about what Tommy was saying. And having served on both sides of the hall in the executive branch and down here, we do have to remember that it's the county executive's role to maintain and decide what happens with county facilities. However, having said that, within appropriations that we provide. So, I don't think anybody here, at least I don't think anybody wants to keep that building. And again, you don't need our permission to do it. You might need funding from us, but I kind of agree with you. To have a condemned building on Main Street for winter wouldn't be good. So, but I don't want us to, and I don't think it'll get lost. I think the public participation that my colleagues to my left are talking about will take place for nothing else, because we're the ones that have to provide the money. But certainly I'll defer to the commissioner's judgment with respect to whether or not it's safe to keep it open. I mean, would we have to put a chain link fence around a condemned or around a closed building? And I'm not putting it on the spot. I'm not looking for an answer, but these are just some of the questions I have. If it won't last a winter because the boiler's shot, it does become abandoned. And again, I'm not asking for answers here. So I want to know, though, how would we secure it? How ugly would it look to secure it if we didn't take it down? And what liability would we have leaving essentially an abandoned building up? Rhetorical questions, all, but things we got to think about. But that building is not a showstopper for any of us, I don't think, as far as the way it looks. I used to work in there when it was the EDC on the second floor. And so anyway, that just put a little perspective. Yes, we will have a very substantial role. And hopefully our community will as well, even more than ours, perhaps, than us, I should say. But, if it's a safety issue, we should think about that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. A wise man once said, I'm just one of nine sitting here, but I'm gonna disagree with my colleagues pertaining to elongating the process. These discussions, as we heard tonight, thoughts, ideas, possibilities, upwards of 20 years already. And I thought that the visualization that Richie provided for us was a real eye opener for me, and I thought I saw that on the face of my colleagues as well, that is what it should be. So if the thought process of us kicking the can down the line further and further and further, the can sounds like it's been kicked for quite some time. And I put a question through the chair because I just don't know. The visualization that Richie did provide for us, is that in our minutes? Is that something that we're able to share and show with everybody else what we saw as a vision for that open space?
Yeah.
We have that, right? So we
Well,
can,
it was on camera.
it was on camera here, right? So we could show that because I think that, because if we go out and we ask 100 people, we're gonna get 98 different opinions, and then we back right where we are right now. We have been elected to take leadership positions, and looking at the option that was presented to us, again, being one of 9, I would submit that we move as quickly as possible going towards the vision that was presented to us and has been thought about for many years before I've been sitting here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just have one more thing. So, I mean, this is apples and oranges, but in my town, the big eyesore there is Swan Cove that the town took over and was creating this beautiful park. They paid $1 million for a swamp land. They had to knock down the building that I was in. I was in that building as a not-for-profit, and I lost my space, which was fine. The town took it over, but look at it now. It's nothing but an eyesore. I agree. You shouldn't leave an abandoned building. What are the broken windows legislation or broken windows?
It's policing.
When you have broken windows in your downtown, it brings everybody down. We have some beautiful businesses here that want to invest in our downtown, and I think we have that eyesore. With raccoons living in it and a fence around it, it's going to be a real problem. So I don't want to see another swampy parking lot like we have at Swan Cove, but I think it does need to be addressed sooner rather than later. That's all I'm going to say.
Through the chair, I can give you examples of buildings that we've taken down in my short time here, and it's actually benefited that community. One being the Blue House next to the golf course. We got a ton of letters, just the look of that. Not only that, the police were called there all the time, same as the house on Austin Road. One of our buildings on one of our properties out by Highway, same thing. The one thing you gotta realize too is that there's a thing called ghost houses, and you'll see it in places like Cleveland, Detroit, where there'll be 20 abandoned houses, and they'll take down 4 in between and make it bigger spaces. They've actually improved the property value of that area. I just, from a business perspective, I would think the less commercial properties you have and the better they look, the better chance you have to have a better, vibrant commercial downtown.
Okay.
Right now, Carmel downtown is closed at 8 o'clock at night, except for the Knights of Columbus. And God bless them. But, I would hate to see police call because some kids break into it. I hate to see, look at the IBM building that's sitting up on Somers. It's disgraceful. And I think you could bring more value to the hamlet of Carmel by removing 1 or 2 that probably should be knocked down anyway.
Okay, I'm going to sit in for the chairman. I just got a minute.
Do you mind?
Chair.
Through one of the chairs, one of you guys, can I just make a comment?
Final comment.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I
move on.
wasn't, when I was saying, I was thinking, put out 4 pictures, 4 different ideas, send them to the public, or 2. I'm not saying 50 different things, or, go out to have different designs drawn, but something needs to be done and give 2 or 4 pictures of different green spaces or different ideas of parks or something, and then give it to the public and let us have a hearing or one last discussion. Knock the building down, take it down, say goodbye. I don't care about that. But have a discussion, and people should be able to weigh in a little bit about different things that they're looking for in that green space. And I think each one of those, maybe, again, capping it at 4 photos, just saying, you know, each one having a different aesthetic, I think would give a little bit of you know, opinion from the taxpayers that are here. That's all I'm asking.
A park designer.
I'm sure that'll happen.
I'm just saying, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea to do that over the winter and put that out
That's
and,
what
and, yes,
You got
that's,
park and, you know,
Yeah.
park developers weigh in
And
on what they
that's-
wanna do. That's what an
that's what
RFI would do.
I would like to see that done with, over the winter with, you know,
Almost every county government does that for projects. I mean, RFIs, it's not
I
revolutionary.
don't,
Yeah.
I just think during the winter time, you know, like I said, United for the Troops has to be out by the 1st. Whatever comes down now, or if it comes down then, but over the winter time, let's make a decision, I think, this committee, and come up with what we're going to do. It's going to cost us money, we're not leaving an abandoned space there, it's not just gonna be a, you know, a gravel parking lot. I agree with Legislator Sage about, you know, Swan Cove, and prices are just going up, so let's figure it out, let's get people to make a couple, you know, different ideas, put it before the public, put it before us, have the discussion, and get ready to go, and let's figure this out. That's the first time I ever said, let's get this going instead of slow down, let's talk this out, so that's on the record.
Thank you, Chairman. Through the chair, question for the commissioner. So being that 2020 was the last time an estimate was looked at this, you perceive that this is something that your department, if we did select demolition, is this something your department would undertake or oversee a contractor doing it?
Oversee a contractor.
So they wouldn't be building any walls, right? Just take them down? Call back.
Well, you guys do a good job.
So, but seriously, so it wouldn't be our guys
Ideally,
doing the demo?
sorry to the chair, ideally, no, you sub that out, especially because the abatement piece of it, so, and you're close to other businesses that are open. We would most likely do the redevelopment of the property itself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last comment?
I think reiterating the same thing, I think we're all on the same page. I think that parkland or green space is likely what will be done. I just think that I agree with Legislator Crowley, if there's maybe a few different renderings and renditions of what this would look like, I think an RFEI would achieve that. What's likely to happen, there would be green space, and I think we'd get a lot of park developers to weigh in, give ideas based off of that. You go and you get it, architectural designs drawn, and then we could, proceed that way. I just don't like the idea of going and taking a wrecking ball to it and then just like, okay, well, now what do we do? I think that to conceptualize it, really look at it again, this is not a little out of the public eye. This is right in the public eye. This is right across from Lake Gleneida. It's right across from the courthouse, main corridor of our county. I think this is a unique situation as compared to some others. And you're right, we don't want it to look like another Swan Cove. We want this to be like completely well thought out before we approach it, not half-cocked. We have a beautiful design for it, and we go and we just take care of it. And I think that with the winter approaching, there should be no reason to take those steps, and it's not a revolutionary idea. I mean, almost all other counties do this on their larger scale projects. That's what I'd see this to be.
Thank you. Okay. I think we've exhausted comments on this. So, we'll move on. There's a comment?
No, let's move.
All right, we're gonna move on to item number 7. This is something that's very important to Putnam Valley and the Philippines. We have a presentation from the Commissioner of Planning, Barbara Barosa, on the Putnam County Public Transit Studies. Commissioner, would you like to start?
This study has been a long time coming. I started securing funding.
The study out there
over
is
2
in
years
July.
ago. It was
Oh, they did.
issued by our consultant in July. The study began last year. We knew we needed to do an overhaul and look to see if there's ways we can update various routes. Our ridership has been declining. Can you hear me?
Do you want me to go to the next?
No, you can
Okay.
see here. We just wanted to improve service. Last year, while we were securing our contractor on the study, we did start doing some improvements. This list includes what we did. We updated our the look of our bus. We changed from the purple to the white, more streamlined county colors. We began our Putnam on Demand with great success. It includes all of the town of Patterson, parts of Carmel and Southeast. Our ridership, it replaced an existing route, part 3. Part 3 typically had about 15 to 20 people a day riding it. We're seeing 60 to 80 with Putnam on Demand that replaced it. The expanded coverage, we started with a route that mimicked our part 3. We heard from people that we were missing them, so we added different locations, some neighborhoods. With that, we also were asked by the Veterans Affairs to include coverage at their residence and the VA clinic, which we now picked up them as well. Sorry. We updated our bus schedules, and I worked with the Village of Cold Spring with a trolley committee last year and updated the route over in Cold Spring. We had a 35% increase in ridership last year with that. And then the big thing is the transit study was completed. Next slide. Yes. So with this, we looked at everything with our system. Our fixed routes, we have a Croton Falls commuter shuttle. We have complimentary paratransit that operates within 3/4 of a mile of the fixed routes, and our microtransit service that we're operating, as well as we wanted to look at the way our system runs. Right now, we're on a flag stop system. So you can go anywhere along the fixed route and wave down the bus. We wanted to see if this was the best way of doing things, if we should improve and have more fixed stops with amenities such as shelters and benches, that sort of thing. So that was all analyzed with the study. So the 4 goals were to improve coverage, strengthen our connections. Right now, we don't have any connections into Dutchess County. We do connect into Hart system in Danbury, and also Fairfield County, as well as Westchester County on several of our routes. But we did want to see if there's better ways of getting around. So this is a list of and a map of where our coverage is. And as you can see, we primarily serve the eastern part of the county, other than the trolley. One of the big, this actually describes our service even further, and our fare structure. So as you can see, our ridership's been pretty steady. There are certain routes, you can see if you look a little closer at the different colors, some are doing better than others. So we wanted to see if we can improve all of them, not just one location in particular. The microtransit in particular has really expanded our service, but we are seeing declines across some of our routes. So this is the cost and the number of miles. We're doing about 500,000 miles across all of our routes, and operating costs are currently about $2 million. And this shows when people are riding. We get started at 4 a.m. and we're operating until 8. So with the transit study, they did do looked at where demand is highest, based off of seniors, disabled population, using the census to look at if there are areas where they don't have cars. And the darker areas highlight areas of higher what they call public transit need. One of those areas is West Mahopac, and parts of Putnam Valley, that are not the darkest, but darker than we expected. And this is just our different routes for your information. This is part one. This is our most successful route. We operate 2 buses along this route, and it takes people from Tops and then goes up through Brewster Village, which has a high ridership population, and it goes up into Putnam Lake. Part 2 serves Lake Carmel. With this, we do have a lot of on-call stops, which we did also look at to see if this was the most efficient way of doing it. And there were some recommendations from our consultant on modifications, so we're going to look further into this and see whether we should change any of this route. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is Lake Carmel, that was,
I can't really see it. Sorry.
you can
that
look up
too
there
is-
too, if that's okay.
Oh,
okay.
behind you.
It's my town.
Oh, that's okay. So yes, so,
It's like Carmel.
That's Lake Carmel.
Lake Carmel, is part 5. So, yes, Mayapack, we would, actually, can you go back?
Yeah.
Right now, it's a very long route, and, in the study, if you read it, there were suggestions to change some of the routing and do 2 different, basically, routes, one down to the Jefferson Valley Mall and then one back to the hospital. We did get a lot of public feedback on that, and we aren't going to change that at this time, because we would be missing some people that rely on this. We are looking to possibly add another service. It is a 2-hour route, which I think is the ridership suffering because of it. So we would like to add peak hour service. And it was a recommendation so it's running hourly.
Go passes.
It's Lake Carmel. Yep, that's Lake Carmel.
So this is the Cold Spring Trolley. As I mentioned before, we did change the route last year. We used to go up into Beacon and connect along Beacon Main Street. We eliminated that, especially with the closures with the trails. So we just serve up to the end of Fair Street and come back down. We do go down into Garrison. The Croton Falls Commuter Shuttle, it's peak hour train service, basically. And we currently run along Croton Falls Road. One of the recommendations from the consultant is to move it down to Union Valley Road and pick up some of the residential neighborhoods along that, which we would like to incorporate. So microtransit, very popular. We launched last May. Ridership is still growing, which talking to our operator, they actually they've said they haven't seen this anywhere else. They operate nationwide. We are getting about 100 new riders a month, which is great. So it's very popular.
Could I ask on that?
Sure.
Would it be okay if I have a question on the micro transit?
Of course.
Yeah. Thank you, through the chair. Yeah, I have heard a lot of good things about micro transit. I commute to New York City 3 days a week from the Brewster train station, and I see an awful lot of folks, I take an early train, a lot of folks coming back and forth through with taxis, which I imagine would be expensive, more expensive than a micro transit route. What is the availability? I mean, could somebody just say, I'm no longer gonna pay 20 bucks each way for a taxi, I'm gonna call up micro transit to pick me up at six, not me, I have a parking space, but, you know, somebody who doesn't have a car to pick them up, and how much is a micro transit fare?
So it's the same as our standard bus fares, which are regular fare is $2.50 for one ride, $1.25 half fare if you're seniors, disabled, children. We also have a monthly pass, which is $75 or $35 if you're half fare.
So why would anybody through the chair call up, because I see the same people getting out of the same taxis every day. Why would anybody take a taxi if they could do this? What kind of notice do they need to give? I mean, obviously taxis are, I was gonna say on demand, but that's the name of this program. What would stop them from saying, you know,
It doesn't. Well, for us, we don't serve the village.
okay,
There is, you have to we can pick up anywhere. You
You're
can
right,
pick it
yeah.
up within the zone and go anywhere within
is
the zone.
Southeast Station in the zone? Cause I saw it was
Yes.
okay, so
Yes.
let's use that. I don't commute out of that lot, but I imagine the same would be true there. A lot of people take taxis to that.
So currently, we operate 8 AM to 6:30, like
Okay, so
6:15.
that would cut down on, at least in New York City bound traffic, because
Right.
if they're starting at 8, they're not gonna
And
get to the train until at least
the-
8:30.
The reason we did that was because that was our part 3 service hours.
Okay.
It is expensive. For every hour per vehicle, it's $69.50 an hour. So, you know, it's just cost.
So-
So we can add service. It's just a matter of paying for it.
Yeah, and just to wrap up my comment on this, putting aside the Brewster train station or even any commuting traffic, some people do take, have the daily need for a cab. My condo, those days I do work at home, during the week, I live at Reed Farm. I see the same seniors being picked up by the same taxis, and they're my constituents. I mean, I'm going to reach out to them and tell them to, you know, reach out to the on-demand service. But then my next question would be, how well-known is this service? How well are we advertising it? And what will we do if, and I'm not necessarily saying this is a bad thing, but what will we do if we find out, once word gets out, that we just have too much demand for this? Has there been any contingency plans, or are there, it isn't expensive, obviously, we're losing money on each ride. And I'm sure we do that on a regular part system too. It's, yeah, I mean, it's nothing, the MTA, you know, I mean, my subway fare doesn't pay for my proportionate share of using the subway. I get it, this is a public service, it's not supposed to be self-sustaining. But are we nervous that this program could just balloon out of proportion? And how do we either control that, or how do we deal with it?
I hope
So-
that's the problem, because on the western side of the county, there's no way to get around. There is no transportation, and if you call a cab, it's gonna be a lot of money, a lot more than what you're talking about. So, we really have to do something on the western side of the county. And, hopefully demand is much greater, then we're gonna be having a discussion on getting more of these types of vehicles, so.
But my
Gentlemen,
fear,
if I may, can we let the commissioner
Yeah,
finish her
all right, all right.
presentation? Right,
Thank you.
let her get through that, and
Yeah,
then,
then
because we
because-
all have lots of questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, to answer your question, the wait time is how we, from VIA, who operates our system, that's their kind of look at how well the system's operating. If the rides, and unmet demand, we do see, we have a whole app that we can go in and monitor daily ridership, and it comes out, it spits out statistics on monthly, weekly, whatever we want to say. Unmet demand right now is about between 3 and 8%, which is very good. So that's if someone requests a ride, if they can't get it when they want it. And the wait time at 14 minutes, I mean, if you were taking a bus, you could wait up to an hour. So we also have allowed pre-booking, so people can book it the night before to, if they have something that they need to get to. We have a lot of dialysis patients from Part 3 that need to get over to by the hospital to Barnes. So we wanted to make sure that they get their ride, that they're not inconvenienced and so that has also instilled confidence, I think, in people that, you know, they can get the ride, that it's not going to, they're not going to call up and not get service when they need it. We also have paratransit. As I mentioned, it's within 3/4 of a mile. And this is, you have to qualify, it's for disabled passengers, basically, to get to doctor's appointments or shopping, whatever they need. For the survey, you can see this one. So for the survey, we did extensive outreach to try and make sure everyone was heard. We had a survey out for several months. We interviewed various people, like the Office for Senior Resources Director, different mayors and supervisors to get their input. One of the number one thing that we heard was we needed service over in the western part of the county, Phillipstown, Cold Spring, Garrison, Putnam Valley, all expressed their displeasure that they did not have service. The other concerns were aging in place, our service hours. We do on some of our routes, they're early, we don't operate on Sundays. And there's a great interest in expanding on the microtransit, the Putnam on Demand. So the consultants took what we said as well as the public and came up with recommendations for the fixed route for microtransit, enhanced mobility with our paratransit services and various infrastructure and communications systems. This is just statistics that to show you again our ridership and basically the trend is going downward for some of them. And this is I'm not sure how many of you've seen the numbers and how much we receive in federal funding and assistance from the state. It's quite substantial. For everything that we do, typically county revenue is only about 10%. Federal and state funding is excellent for us, and we do quite a bit with that.
If I, just on that one quick point, if I could, I see is On Demand the highest county share? I see, I can't make it up, 333, and how much comes from these?
No, that's all just combined. It's we have a separate contractor with that. Last year, operating cost was about $333,000. We did only operate from May through December with that.
What percentage is 80? Of the 333, what percentage is 80? So state aid or federal?
State aided. We receive the this section, the rural funding, this section 5311 is fully for Putnam, is for Patterson area. So that is fully covered by that. The STOA assistance that we receive is based off of the number of passengers and the mileage for the vehicles. So that's across the board. We receive it for all of the services, depending on how many people we get on the, how many rides we offer. And the fare box, same thing. So this is a map from the study of the suggested changes. Again, as I mentioned, these are recommendations from the consultant. Some we do want to analyze further and make sure that they will work for us. One of those recommendations, they did suggest changing the existing microtransit zone. The top corner, there has been very few rides, and they did suggest expanding it down into parts of Southeast. We do want to look at that for the same reason that Legislator Birmingham suggested. It might overload our system. There are a lot more people down there than what we're currently covering. We want to make sure that the people that are already in the system get the quality service that they're having without changing that yet. Two of the other suggestions were the adding 2 new microtransit zones, one for Phillipstown and one for Putnam Valley. So those we would like to move forward with. As I mentioned before, Mayapack, we would like to add peak hour service. And this, right now, it would be just adding one other bus during peak hour, probably 6 hours a day to increase service. The Croat Falls shuttle, realign it to pick up some of the neighborhoods along the way. And then the 2 microtransit zones. These were suggested areas by our consultant. What we would like to do is add one vehicle for basically 3 days. It would be part-time service. The demand in these areas, while there are people expressing interest in having service, the population might not support full-time operations. So we would like to start small and see if we operate 3 days a week, that it would get people what they need. And if there's a large demand, we could always add. The zones itself were recommendations. We will work with our operator to make sure that the coverage is correct, that we're getting the larger population areas. So if there's areas that we're missing, feel free to make suggestions. We're open to expanding that or reanalyzing that. That's not set in stone yet. So those are those 2 areas. The plan with Phillipstown is to provide a coverage area in the town and bring them up into Dutchess to the doctors at the along Route 9 and also to shopping, probably the Walmart shopping center and anywhere else they need to go. The biggest need is probably for seniors, disabled, to get up to the doctors. So we'd like to provide that. For Putnam Valley, it's to get them down into Westchester. We've heard a lot of people express interest in getting down to shopping down there and also to the hospital. 2 other recommendations from our consultant. was for a paratransit. We did ask them to look at going beyond what we currently do. We are required to provide service within 3/4 of a mile of the fixed routes. But other adjacent counties that we work with have gone beyond that. Westchester has a enhanced mobility program that serves the entire county. They use Section 5310 grant money and operate countywide. So we did ask them to look at it and give us an estimate on and more details on how that would work for us. So that's in there. I would like to look at that long-term when the next Section 5310 funding opportunity comes around. It was just offered last year, but it's usually on a 2-year basis. So that is something long-term I would like to pursue. The other improvements are bus stop amenities. We currently don't have very many bus shelters, improving that. I would like to do a where's my bus kind of app so people can know where their bus is going, like follow along on either the website or on an app where their buses are. That's it.
Great presentation, thank you very much. Putnam on Demand going into Phillipstown and Putnam Valley will be a real huge benefit for the residents on the western side of the county. In many ways, I call it a game changer because people are locked in their homes and they really can't get out, whether you're handicapped, a senior, or a young adult. It's a problem. It really is a problem. I noticed a few spots that aren't on that list, which I would like to talk to you about adding them, like the hospital in Portland. No one from Putnam Valley goes to Brewster to go to the hospital. It just doesn't happen. Everyone goes, over to Columbia Presbyterian on Route 202. It's not that far.
We are already looking at that, so yes.
You're gonna add that on
Yes.
to that. Very good.
And something I didn't mention, it would include parts of Mayapack, Secor Road, and they would connect into our existing bus service, so they could get up into Carmel or to Brewster, wherever they needed to go.
Thank you. Any questions from the legislature?
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner, you mentioned you've said owner operator a couple different times right there, so just so I'm clear on this, we own the buses, but we contract the driver operators?
Yes,
Okay.
the service is operated by either VIA operates the microtransit. They actually own the vehicles as well. And V operates our buses, but we own them.
So who makes the decision on an inclement day when driving is not reasonable to do?
Depends. Usually the managers call me and say the roads aren't good. Can we pull? And I, make that decision.
You have to make that decision in coordination with them. Okay. You see that happens. We haven't even gotten to winter yet. We've had a few doozies already, so imagine the winter will come up. Thank you, Commissioner.
Any other comments from the legislature? I noticed the senior center is not on the Putnam Valley list. Is that going to be added onto it?
If you think it's appropriate, sure.
Okay, thank you.
On that question, did you mean the micro transit on this?
Yes.
Okay. Realize what that will do.
I understand that.
Okay.
But I also understand that there are a lot of seniors that are homebound,
Oh, I
and,
understand.
we need to do that.
No pun intended, but buckle up. This will get very expensive very quickly.
I understand.
Maybe during peak hours.
We have to give services to the people that live there.
We actually haven't seen, because we do serve the other senior centers, we haven't seen.
Any other comments from the legislature? Okay, any comments from the audience?
Good evening, everybody. Christian Russo, Town of Putnam Valley. Barbara, thank you very much. That was a great presentation. I'm here tonight to sort of in two ways. Number one, I'm here as the town board member of the town of Putnam Valley to advocate for this program. I am reached out to by residents of Putnam Valley often, saying that there is no way to get around. We are pretty far off the beaten path there, and anyone who's been in Putnam Valley knows there's not much there. There's no doctor's offices, there's no grocery stores. And I think that this could be a game changer and make a tremendous difference for our seniors, individuals with disabilities, to help them get to doctor's appointments, to help them get to the grocery store, to help them get to a job if they have one. So I would really like to see this move forward. On a personal note, as a parent of a child with disabilities, she's 9 now, and I don't know if she'll drive. I'm not quite sure. So this is something that would be very meaningful for me to see move forward. I'm hoping that maybe one day this is a system that she can use to get to a job, to go wherever she wants to go. If she wants to get to if it can get to her to a gym or whatever recreational activity she wants to take part in. It's meaningful to me, so I'm really here advocating both as a town board member and somebody who I think my child's going to make use of this. So I hope you guys will put a lot of consideration into this, and hopefully this will move forward to add service to the town of Putnam Valley. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience like to make a comment? Okay, any last minute comments from the legislature? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 8. We have an approval for a grant application from the planning department for community resiliency, economic stability, and technology. CREST program for the review of emergency services facility repair. Barbara, would you like to talk about this?
Yes, Senator Harkin very kindly was given, gave the county $100,000 towards the CREST program for public safety project. The county analyzed different capital projects that we're looking at, and this project rose to the top. Bureau of Emergency Services, their flooring is, I guess, soft.
Failing.
Yeah, it's failing. So we would like to use the money towards that. It does require an application, which I'm asking for permission to.
Okay, any comments?
Just a quick question to both the commissioner and Joe. Quick, was this one of the items that we talked about yesterday? Okay,
Yes.
good. That's what I thought. This is the flooring at the top spill.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Any other comments from the legislature? See there are none. Any comments from the audience? See there are none. Make a motion to approve this. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 9. We have an approval for a budgetary amendment 26A068 for DPW insurance recovery for guardrail repair. We have Joe with us, Joe Blucci, the Deputy Commissioner of DPW. Would you like to talk on this?
It's a kind of anticlimactic topic, given what was discussed previously tonight, but
Oh, hang in there.
this is just, what?
Hang in there.
I shouldn't jump to conclusions, but this is just the insurance recoveries we receive for the guardrail damage from accidents. It happens pretty regularly throughout the year, so this is just us recouping the money for repairs that need to be made for guardrail during accidents, after accidents, I should say.
Good job, Matt.
Okay, any comments? Leslie?
I'm sorry that Matt doesn't come here anymore, but good job, Matt, wherever you are.
I'll tell you something.
Okay. Any other comments from the legislature? Seeing there are none, any comments from the audience? Okay, seeing there are none, make a motion to move this, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10, other business. We do have additional business. I'd like to, make a motion to accept this, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10. Joe, I just received this, I'm not familiar with it. Would you like to talk about it?
You should be really familiar with this.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but we just got it right then.
Yeah, this isn't really, not a funding ask, it's just outlining the different funding pots for the federal project that's slated to start hopefully in the next couple months, contingent upon the PLA being approved by the feds. So it's just outlining and summarizing the total project appropriations, which were previously authorized. So.
Any questions from the audience, from the legislature?
Yeah, just a comment, this is a typical, as Joe can attest to, when we get federal funds for this type of project, we kind of have to make these representations, and a lot of this is statutory language that comes from the grant program, so it's timely. And I do see we needed to pass this, certainly we'll pass it, assuming it comes out of committee, which I'm sure it will. Was this the thing that needed to be done before September 1st, or? is that
I think
something
the
else?
federal fiscal year is October 1st, I believe.
Oh,
right?
October
Yeah,
1st,
yeah.
okay, all right, so we're good then.
So
Okay,
we're okay, yeah.
good, thank you. That's why I heard it.
Legislator?
Has the consultant put in the new verbiage yet?
Not as of now, no.
Okay, any other comments? Comments from the audience? Seeing there are none, I make a motion to move this, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, is there any other business? If there's no other business, I make a motion to adjourn, do I have a second?
Second.